I started investing in a brand new investment portfolio right here on my channel back in January of 2024. At the time, I started doing that because I wanted to show people how easy it was to get started with investing so you can get off of the sidelines and into the game and start building wealth. When I first started the account, the goal was to invest $5 a day into Vanguard's VOO. And then in November of 2024, I added my second index fund, which was Charles Schwab's SCHD. And at that time, I committed to investing $10 a day every single day into that investment in my portfolio. And then around March of 2025, I added my third index fund, which was Vanguard's VGT. And I had also pledged to invest $10 every single day into that investment as well. So since adding that third index fund, I've been investing $25 every single month since that time. And that equates to around $500 to $525 every single month, depending on the number of trading days in that particular month. And one thing to keep in mind, and I try to mention this in all of my videos, is I'm only investing when the market is open. I'm not worried about making those days up when the market is closed on the weekends or on holidays. I haven't looked to rebalance my portfolio. I'm making daily investments and I'm not trying to time the market, just steady, consecutive investing day over day since I started this portfolio back in January of 2024. The goal of this portfolio is all about showing long-term consistency and get you off of the sidelines and into the game so you can start to invest to build out your financial future. The way that I look at it is that time is going to pass regardless, right? So you can either do something today that will improve your financial situation in the future, or you can not, and you can be in the same situation that you're in 5, 10, 15 years later. So if the time is going to pass anyway, why not do something now that can help change the direction of your financial future? All right, let's take a look at how my portfolio has performed since January of 2024. So if we take a look here, you'll see that my net account value is $4,627.83. And on the day, my account is down by $3.03 or negative 0.06%. And then I have an open P&L of $202.27. And my account is up 4.84%. So since January of 2024, my account is up $202 and I'm up almost 5%. I have a total market value of $4,377.58, and I have a total cash balance of $250.25. Now, one thing that I just want to remind you of here with the cash balance is I have mentioned this in several of my previous individual index fund update videos that this account is entirely on autopilot. So whenever I get paid, the amount of money that comes from my checking account and comes into my Webull account that is then used to make the daily purchases, the $25 that I mentioned, is done automatically. I set it up one time in the system, and now that completely takes me out of having to take that manual action. If you're able to automate, it's going to help with consistency. And then I have a settled cash amount of $50.25. If you look below that, it says I have a buying power of $250.25. Again, that's the amount of money that's automatically transferred into my account. And then, of course, I have my options buying power is $250.25. Not buying options or selling options in this account, so that doesn't really matter. And if you take a look to the bottom of my screen here, you'll see that I have 3 positions, right? I'm in Vanguard's VGT, and I have a total market value of $842.72 in there. And my open P&L with Vanguard's VGT is $82.94. And if you take a look below that, you'll see that my second position is Schwab's SCHD. I have a total market value of $1,530. And as of today, I'm down $35.96 in that particular investment. And my third position there is VOO. and I have a total market value of $2,000, $2,004.85, and my open P&L in that position is $155.29, and I'm up 8.4%. One other thing I want to point out is my Vanguard's VGT. I have a total of 1.34 shares. SCHD, I have 57 shares, and VOO, I have a little over 3.5 shares. And last thing that I'll point out on this screen here is you'll see the yellow DRIP box there. So that is the dividend reinvestment program. So what essentially that is these index funds pay out a dividend every quarter. And when you enroll in a dividend reinvestment program, it will automatically take the money that you receive as a dividend and reinvest it back in your position. So if you are working to get this set up on your own, I would suggest that you sign up for that and have those dividends just reinvested back into your position. All right, so now let's take a look at the P&L here. So if you take a look here, you'll see that my account is up $232.47. You'll notice that that's a little bit different from the screen that I just showed you, which was the $202. But I have received $29.45, and that is the dividend payouts that I've received since January of last year. And I'll go into a little bit more detail about my dividends a little bit later in the video. Below that, you'll see the chart of how my investment has performed since January of 2024. And you'll see the large red dip there at some point, and that was this year, and that was due to the market sell-off from what was going on globally in the trade game. So since that's been rectified and that's been fixed, and we have a trade deal that's on the table, and as of today, I'm not sure if it's been signed or not, but the market has bounced back, and you can see that represented on that top chart here. All right, if we take a look to the bottom of the screen here, you'll see two lines on the graph here. The orange line represents the S&P 500. The green line represents my investment portfolio, and it is simply showing how my portfolio has performed against the S&P 500 since January of 2024. And then you'll also see that my account is showing that is up 51.97%. Now, before you think that this is crazy, there's no way that my account is up 51.97%. You're absolutely right. And I've mentioned this on my last portfolio update. And that's another reason of why I don't share this screen whenever I'm doing my individual investment updates, because Webull uses what is called the money weighted rate of return. And essentially what the money weighted rate of return is, it measures investment performance by considering the timing and size of cash inflows versus cash outflows. Now, there's a little bit more to that definition, but that's essentially what the money weighted rate of return is. Webull uses that to show that on the P&L tab here. We're obviously not up 52%, but that's just another way that Webull illustrates your investment portfolio and how it's performing. Now, I'm not 100% certain if they're alone in this space or if other brokerage houses do the same thing. I have Fidelity that I use, and Fidelity doesn't represent it this way. So kind of keep that in mind if you have an account with Webull. If you take a look at that and it shows that much of a percentage return, it's because they're using the money weighted rate of return. All right, right now we're taking a look at the total number of dividends that I've received since January of 2024, and it totals out to $27.64. Not 100% certain why this number differs from the number on the previous chart that I showed you guys. So it looks like there's about a $2 delta. So I'll need to do a little bit of digging to see why there's a difference there, but I'm not tripping over $2. All right, on this screen right here, this is just a different illustration of how my portfolio has performed. At the top, you'll see the $202.27 in my account being up almost 5% since January of last year. And then, of course, if you take a look at the asset allocation, you'll see that my stock allocation is the $4,377. And then, of course, I have the $250 in cash that's waiting to be allocated at $25 per day intervals. If you're getting some value from this video, consider subscribing, and while you're at it, hit the like button for the algorithm. I would really appreciate it. And share this video with anyone that you think could benefit by starting to invest in the stock market. Now, one of the things that I have considered is adding one additional index fund to this portfolio. I've considered either doing that or increasing the amount that I'm investing in Vanguard's VOO from $5 up to $10. Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments below. If you'd rather see me add an additional index fund. If the answer to that is yes, what index fund should I add that will add some additional diversification to my portfolio, or if I should just increase the amount that I'm investing in Vanguard's VOO. All right, so now I just want to answer a few of the common questions that I have received since starting this portfolio. The very first question that I typically get is, what brokerage house do I use and what broker should you use? I'm using Webull for this portfolio. You can use whatever brokerage that works for you. That could be SoFi, it could be Robinhood, it could be Fidelity, or many of the other ones that are out there. If you're planning to invest in fractional shares, my suggestion would be to look at something like Robinhood or a Webull. Those are the ones that will allow you to invest in fractional shares. The next question that I receive is, what is the number that I'm trying to reach ultimately in this portfolio? And to answer that question is, I don't have that number. I'm looking at this as milestones. So the very first milestone that I'm planning to hit is $5,000, and I should be able to hit that in the next 4 to 6 weeks. And then after that, then the next goal will be 10,000, then 20,000, and then beyond. I envision this account hitting $50,000 at some point. I know I'm only investing $25 a day, but at some point I may start investing more money. At some point I may up my investment to $25 in each one of these index funds. Not 100% certain on that yet. I also have other accounts that I invest in that I want to make sure that I'm not neglecting as well. But I'm just going to continue going, right? I'm just going to go as long as I possibly can. It's on automate, so I'm honestly not even checking. I come in whenever I'm giving these updates, and that's the only time that I'm logging into this portfolio. All right, and then the last question is that I'm investing in VOO, SCHD, or Vanguard's VGT. I have a lot of people that will sometimes leave me comments and say why they would not invest in those, and that's completely fine. It's up to you on what you want to invest in. You have to invest in something that meets your criteria. I have a index database that I like to go through anytime that I'm looking at a new index fund that I want to invest in. I'll link that down in the description below. Go in there, take a look. It breaks it down between like real estate, technology, healthcare, anything that you can think of. You can go into any category, pick an index fund that works well for you. Don't just invest in something because someone tells you to. Make sure you always understand what you're investing in. 3 tips or lessons learned to close out the video. Number 1, automation. It works. It's powerful. You set it up one time and it does all of the work for you, and it allows you to continue to do the things that need to be done in order to build wealth. Number 2 is consistency. Doing the things that you need to do over a long period of time will help you get to your destination. You just have to be patient. Number 3 is boring. Be okay with boring being good. Automation mixed with consistency with boring growth over a long period of time will help explode your net worth more than you could ever imagine.